Man, what a night for the Buffalo Bills. You could just feel it in the air, the energy, the urgency, the fire. This wasn't just another game on the schedule. This was a statement. The Bills walked into that matchup against the Chiefs with something to prove, and they walked out reminding everyone exactly who they are. They needed this one badly, not just for the standings, but for their soul. The team, the fans, the whole city of Buffalo, everybody needed to see this version of the Bills again. Explosive on offense, sharp on defense, composed under pressure. It felt like everything finally clicked. The passing game was electric. The running game, powerful and relentless. The defense, nasty and disciplined. You could tell early that this wasn't going to be another one of those games where momentum slips away. Every time the Chiefs tried to make a push, the Bills answered. Every time things looked like they might unravel, they found a way to stabilize. It wasn't perfect, but it was gritty and beautiful football. And honestly, after the roller coaster of the last few weeks, seeing them put together a complete game like that just hit different. Let's start where it all begins, with Josh Allen. Because this guy reminded everybody why he's one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. 23 completions on 26 attempts. 273 passing yards. 1 passing touchdown and 2 rushing scores. And with those 2 rushing touchdowns, he made NFL history, becoming the first quarterback ever to have at least 6 rushing touchdowns in each of his first 8 seasons. Only Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, and LaDainian Tomlinson have ever done that. Think about that for a second. That's not just rare air, that's legendary company. Oh, and he also became the all-time leader in rushing touchdowns by a quarterback, including the playoffs. Unreal. But as much as the rushing stuff is incredible, it's the passing that brought the juice back to this offense. We're talking chunk plays again, 47 yards, 30 yards, 28 yards, 18 yards. Just explosive, confident football. It's been a while since we saw that kind of swagger through the air. And it wasn't reckless. It was efficient. Josh completed 88% of his passes, a new Buffalo Bills record for any quarterback with at least 15 attempts. It was a career day for Allen in terms of accuracy, and it showed. The offense just felt alive. Dalton Kincaid was the heartbeat of that passing attack. 6 catches on 6 targets, over 100 yards, and a touchdown. The man was unstoppable. He tied the franchise record for most 100-yard games by a tight end, and he's only in his 3rd season. That's exactly the player the Bills envisioned when they drafted him. Smooth route running, reliable hands, yards after the catch, physicality when it matters. He's not just a tight end, he's a weapon. Even on that touchdown where the linebacker fell, Kincaid had already created separation. That play was his all the way. Khalil Shakir played a key role too. He kept the offense on schedule, working those shorter routes, taking those bubble screens, and finally breaking loose for a 20-yard gain that flipped the field. It's easy to overlook those plays, but they're the glue that keeps drives alive. Those are the moments that turn into quiet momentum shifts. Dawson Knox came up big as well with that 30-yard strike from Allen, a perfect throw and a clutch grab downfield. Elijah Moore made his presence felt with a 28-yard reception, threading the needle between defenders. Even Jackson Hatt got in on the action with an 18-yard catch off a creative flip from Allen. When you look at it, the tight ends as a group, Kincaid, Knox, and Hatt, combined for nearly 150 yards and a touchdown. That's the definition of a balanced, tight end-heavy offense working at full strength. And can we talk about James Cook? What a game. 27 carries, 114 yards, and he made every one of them count. Kansas City hadn't allowed a 100-yard rusher in 27 straight games. Cook broke that streak and did it with confidence. He kept the offense on schedule, consistently picking up positive yards, breaking tackles, fighting through contact. It wasn't flashy, it was workmanlike. Just grinding, steady, winning football. The kind of performance that keeps your team balanced and your quarterback in rhythm. He even added a crucial 11-yard reception late in the game on 3rd and 3, extending a drive and forcing Kansas City to burn valuable timeouts. That's the kind of situational execution championship teams are built on. The supporting cast stepped up too. Ty Johnson contributed a touchdown and solid snaps out of the backfield. Ray Davis showed flashes as a returner. giving Buffalo good field position and energy. Even the fullback, Reggie Gilliam, deserves props. His blocking was physical, relentless, and opened up lanes all night long. This was the first time all season where every running back in the rotation contributed something meaningful. You could feel the difference. And the numbers back it up. 404 total yards, 28 points, 23 first downs, no turnovers, 7 of 12 on third down, perfect 3 for 3 in the red zone, and nearly 35 minutes of possession. That's championship-level execution right there. Against one of the best defenses in football, the Bills went out and dropped the most yards Kansas City has allowed all season. That's not luck, that's dominance. Then you look at the defense, and it's just as impressive. Patrick Mahomes had one of the roughest days of his career. 15 completions on 34 attempts for 250 yards, 1 interception, and under 50% completion for the first time ever. The Bills hit him 15 times, sacked him 3 times, and pressured him on more than half his dropbacks. You could see the frustration on his face. He couldn't get comfortable, couldn't climb the pocket, couldn't find rhythm. Buffalo's front seven just kept collapsing the pocket and forcing him to move sideways instead of forward. It was surgical. Greg Rousseau and Leonard Bosa were monsters off the edge. Rousseau had a half sack and 4 quarterback hits. Bosa finished with a sack, 2 tackles for loss, and 5 hits on Mahomes. That's relentless pressure, play after play. The interior rush was creative too. Dorian Williams and Michael Hoy worked in tandem, sometimes rushing, sometimes dropping back, keeping Mahomes guessing all game long. It wasn't just about physicality, it was strategy, disguise, and timing. Every rush felt connected to the coverage behind it, and that's what made it so effective. Speaking of coverage, it's the best it's looked all season. Jordan Poyer brought stability. Maxwell Harrison made his mark with his first career interception, off Patrick Mahomes, no less. And Cole Bishop was a force with 4 pass breakups and a tackle for loss. These young defensive backs are growing up fast, and you can feel it. The communication, the positioning, the confidence, it's all clicking. Buffalo's depth on defense was tested hard in this game, but everyone who stepped in contributed. You had guys like Cam Lewis, Jamarcus Ingram, and Jordan Hancock out there in key moments, and they held strong, holding Kansas City to 21 points, forcing 3 punts, a turnover, and keeping them under 310 total yards. That's a statement. It was the second lowest yardage total for the Chiefs this season, and the lowest number of first downs they've had all year. 3 for 13 on third down. That's elite defense. Sure, there were a few frustrating moments, a 3rd and long, a 4th and 17, but football isn't about perfection. It's about responding, adjusting, and finishing. And the Bills did that better than they have in weeks. It felt like the balance was back. Offense and defense feeding off each other. Big plays mixed with discipline, energy mixed with execution. This wasn't a fluke win. This was a team rediscovering itself. You could see the swagger returning, the belief rebuilding. Buffalo reminded everyone, and maybe even reminded themselves, that they still belong in the Super Bowl conversation. As good as that win felt, it came with a bittersweet edge. Because while Buffalo proved something powerful about who they can be, they also took another tough hit with injuries. Losing Michael Hoy to a torn Achilles, it just hurts. You could feel the entire mood shift when he went down. The guy was becoming a real difference maker on that defensive line, someone who played with motor and intelligence, and gave the Bills versatility in their pass rush looks. He'd been a spark since the preseason, showing that burst and hand technique that made the defense feel more unpredictable. And now, he's gone for the year. It's cruel, really. Just last week, Ed Oliver went down and now Hoy. You start to feel the weight of these absences piling up. Every time this team starts to build momentum, something happens that forces them to adapt all over again. But credit to Sean McDermott's group. They keep finding ways to adjust. They don't fold, they evolve. And that's what you saw against the Chiefs. Even without 2 of their best linemen, the defense played with discipline, energy, and creativity. It wasn't just about rushing Mahomes. It was about controlling him. They forced him off his spot, took away the middle of the field, and never let him get comfortable with his first reads. And that's why even when he made a few of those classic Mahomes improvisations, they didn't turn into daggers. Buffalo's defense contained the chaos, which is something not many teams can say. One thing that really stood out was how connected the defense looked. You had younger players stepping into big roles and thriving under pressure. Cole Bishop looked like a veteran out there, making instinctive plays in coverage, reading Mahomes' eyes, and closing on the ball with authority. His 4-pass breakups weren't just stat padding, they were drive killers. Maxwell Harrison's interception might have looked like an arm punt to some people, but it was a massive play in terms of momentum. You could feel the shift right after it happened. The sideline lit up, the crowd got louder, and it felt like the defense fed off that moment. It was symbolic in a way. One of the team's youngest players making a defining play against one of the league's best quarterbacks. That's how you build belief. And honestly, that's what this win was all about. Belief. It wasn't just about the numbers or the highlights. It was about restoring faith that this team still has the identity and the grit to compete with anyone. Because over the past few weeks, you could sense some doubt creeping in, not just from the fans, but even from the players. They weren't as sharp, they weren't as confident. But this game reignited something. The offense looked loose and creative again. The defense played fast and fearless, and Josh Allen looked like he was having fun. That's the version of the Bills that can make a run in January. Josh's leadership really showed, too. He played calm, controlled football. No forcing throws into double coverage, no panic plays. He trusted the scheme, trusted his guys, and it paid off. That connection with Kincaid looked special. You could see the chemistry growing week by week. And when those two are in rhythm, it opens up everything else. Shakir underneath, knocks on those seams, Cook out of the backfield. It becomes a complete offense. For the first time in a while, the Bills didn't look like they were searching for answers. They looked like they had one for every situation the Chiefs threw at them. And it wasn't just the stars. Players like Ty Johnson, Reggie Gilliam, and Ray Davis filled their roles perfectly. That's the mark of a team that's locked in, when even the depth guys are making noticeable impacts. Johnson's touchdown might not have been flashy, but it showed how this offense can spread the ball around and stay unpredictable. Gilliam's blocking in key moments was the kind of dirty work that wins games. And Davis gave the special teams a spark that helped tilt the field position battle. All of it matters. Then there's James Cook. You can tell he's growing into that feature back role. Early in his career, there were moments where he'd flash brilliance but disappear for stretches. Now he's stringing together complete games. He's running with patience, vision, and strength. He's not just hitting holes, he's creating them. And when he gets to the second level, he's a problem. You could see how much that 100-yard performance meant to him. It wasn't about stats. It was about breaking through a barrier, proving he could be that consistent, every-down guy. And when you combine his efficiency with Josh Allen's dual-threat ability, this offense becomes unpredictable again. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Shockwaves are hitting the NFL world as the league announced the cancellation of the much-anticipated matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs, after the game had already been played. The bombshell decision comes in the wake of what the league is calling newly surfaced footage, though specifics about the content of these images remain shrouded in mystery. Fans and analysts alike are scrambling to piece together what this unprecedented move could mean for the season, team records, and playoff implications. The game, which had drawn massive attention and sparked heated debates among fans and pundits, saw the Bills and Chiefs facing off in what many expected to be a high-octane clash. Yet, barely 24 hours after the final whistle, NFL officials shocked the sports world by announcing the nullification of the results. Social media exploded, with hashtags like hashtag Bills vs. Chiefs and hashtag NFL cancellation trending worldwide. The suddenness of the decision has left fans reeling, especially those who had celebrated or mourned the outcome. Insiders suggest the new images could relate to controversial officiating, player conduct, or even security breaches in the stadium, though nothing has been confirmed. Rumors are swirling that the league's integrity unit is conducting an emergency review, signaling this could be more than a simple clerical or technical error. Analysts have pointed out that this marks an unprecedented move in modern NFL history. Canceling a game retroactively is almost unheard of, and no official precedent seems to exist. Reactions from both teams have been mixed but cautious. The Bills' locker room was reportedly stunned, with players expressing disbelief over the sudden nullification. Chiefs officials, meanwhile, have remained tight-lipped, releasing only a brief statement emphasizing their commitment to the league's ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, fans have taken to forums, podcasts, and social media to voice outrage, confusion, and speculation. Some are calling for penalties or fines, while others are questioning whether the league can maintain credibility in the face of such an extraordinary decision. While the NFL remains tight-lipped on the specifics of the new images, the ripple effects of this announcement are already being felt. Ticket refunds, fantasy football recalculations, and betting controversies loom on the horizon. As the story develops, one thing is certain. This cancellation is reshaping how fans, teams, and analysts view accountability and transparency in professional football. Rumor has it that further announcements could arrive any day, keeping the sports world on edge and fueling endless debate about what really happened on the field that day. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.